This module of Health Office is entering a scheduled medication and viewing items scheduled. A scheduled med is anything that is administered to a student on a scheduled basis. It can be a prescription drug or an over-the-counter medication. In this module, we will do an overview, which will be followed by a simulation. Watch the demonstration video now. You begin on the Maintenance tab, followed by Prescription. Type in the first few letters of the student's last name. Make sure the type says Only Students. Highlight the student's name, then select. Click the New button. You are now on the information screen. You will be working across the tabs on this screen. There are two ways to enter a medication. The preferred way is using one of the templates, but if a medication is not available in the template, you must use the drop-down menus. For example, you enter the medication from that drop-down. The medication unit is the physical form of the medication. For example, a 10 milligram tablet or 1 puff from an inhaler. The medication unit is different from the dose. Medications are checked against the drug classification list and entered appropriately. For example, whether something is an antibiotic, an antidepressant, etc. The frequency is the number of times a medication is taken per day, not just the number of times it is administered at school. You do not have to enter the prescription number. The route type is oral, inhaled, injection, etc. The preferred way to enter a medication is through one of the default templates. So over here we will go to the default templates and we are going to enter Ritalin. 10 milligrams. So I will select that from the template. And you will see that it fills in many of the fields. This cuts down on error. Using the template, the medication is filled in, the medication unit is filled in, the classification is filled in. You will need to enter the frequency. So again, that's a drop down. We will say this is twice daily. You don't have to enter the prescription number, and the route type is entered. By checking the drug classification list, we would find out that Ritalin is a controlled substance, so that needs to be marked. If this were over-the-counter or self-administered, that would be marked as well. The start date is the first day that this drug was administered. The end date is when it's going to be finished. For instance, if this needs to go to the end of school, you can use the drop-down and choose the last date that this will be administered. You can skip sensitive and IEP. Please note this area that is called PRN as needed. We are not using this now because it is a scheduled med, but one of the subsequent videos will be talking about entering a PRN. We're going to check the inventory box and set a low watermark. I'm going to set this to 5 doses. Now, when this is set, the system is going to let us know when there are 5 doses left so that we can notify the parent or guardian. If there are special instructions, you can enter that here. Then we will move on to the Scheduled Items tab. On the Scheduled Items tab, we work at the bottom of the screen. So we will first select the interval. We will say this is going to be administered Monday through Friday. The time auto-populates to the current time that you are entering, so you can change this time. I'm going to change this back to 8:30. I will click in the hour field and use my down arrow to set that to 8. Then I will click in the minute field, use my up arrow to set this at 8:30. It is already set for AM, so I can leave that. If I had to change it, I would just click in the field and change it. The dose is the portion of the unit given. For example, 1 dose would be the entire 10 milligram tablet. The dose is a numeric number only. So I entered 1 dose, which equals 10 milligrams. Half a dose would be entered as 0.5, which would equal 5 milligrams. The location, this will be the room numbers in your building, so choose the room where this is administered. Once you have this filled in, you click the Add button. The information appears in the box above. Please proofread this before you go on. If you need to edit, you can highlight it and use the Edit button. If you need to remove this because you entered something incorrectly, you can highlight this and use the Remove button. So please do your editing here, because you cannot edit a medication once it has been administered. If this med needs to be administered an additional time at school, you just fill in the fields again. Press your Add button, proofread your work at the top, and then you can move on to the Authorizations tab. The Authorized By field is the parent or guardian who signed the authorization form. You would click the Browser button, type the first few letters of the guardian's name, highlight the guardian's name, and select. All authorization must be written. The date will be the date that is on the authorization form. The prescriber is the physician. Again, choose the Browser button, type the first few letters of the physician's name, highlight the name, and select. Now, if either of these names don't appear when you're checking the browser, you can enter these names with a quick person. The prescriber must be written as well, and the date again comes off of the authorization form. The pharmacy does not need to be entered. Bring your attention to Request to Discontinue. I just want to make note that it is on the Authorization tab. We'll be talking about how to discontinue a med in one of the other videos. On the Authorization tab, you must click the Save button in order for the inventory control fields to populate. So let us save and then move over to Inventory Control. We're going to set the initial inventory for these meds. So we will click the Adjust button. The adjustment date and time populates. We're going to set the number of doses to increase or decrease. So we will say that the parent brought in 30 doses. The reason, I'm going to choose New Prescription. Now, in your live data, your drop-down may say different things than mine. I'm in a training database, so I'm using new prescription. Once this is filled in, I'm going to click OK. What is going to happen as this medication is administered to the child, the number of doses will decrease, and the software will let you know until you get down to that low water mark, which I had set at 5. And then it will alert you to tell the parent or guardian to bring in more medication. So we will click OK. And now we can click OK in the upper navigation bar. Click Yes on the pop-up window. This scheduled medication is now entered. So we can see that if we check items scheduled. We had entered Ritalin to be administered to Andrew Akins at 8:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. Thank you. This concludes the demonstration portion of entering a scheduled medication.